Today is Monday the 17th. The 17th of November. Wow. This month, when I tell you, this month holds so much significance in my life, it's crazy. Um, and what you see, I'm up and I got my favorite PJs on. Don't worry, they've been washed. And I got on my robe here. I love this robe. I've had this robe for years. I got it from Fredericks of Hollywood years ago. I want to say maybe 2004, 2005, something like that. And I still get down with it. And it's that chenille. It's real soft and shit. Oh yeah. This is my get up right here. So, but anyway, before we get started on talking about all kinds of shit, let's go ahead on and excuse Boomerang, McStuffins, and them. Okay, and say that this is not for kids. I don't do kid videos. This is not no Hardy, Benny Hill, none of that old type of shit, baby. I cusses over here. I mean cuss, not curse, cuss over here. This is like real cussing over here. Um, I talk about everything under the sun, from sex to men to nut bones, beans and rice, EBT cards, wick. Baby, we talks about some of everything over here. I'm well versed on a lot of things, and when I talk about it, that means I know something about it. Okay, that means I just don't pick up a topic and speak on what I don't know. There have been times where I have spoke on things and I didn't know the full details of some shit. That's why I choose to talk about my own shit as opposed to other people's shit, because I did that one time before on a very publicized thing that was jumping off, and I put my uh, opinion in there, and I didn't even have all the motherfucking facts or nothing the fuck else, but still, from where I was coming from, I just gave the view from where I was standing at, from the side I was seeing. You know what I'm saying? People didn't like that, so I choose to kind of get away from certain things now. I'm only talking about what the fuck I know about. You know what I mean? And sometimes I might slip up, and what I know ain't the full get up on what it is to know about all of it. You know what I mean? So I just know a little bit about the part that I was in. How about that? How about I just talk about the part I know? Okay. So anyway, but yeah, so I talk about all kind of different topics here on my channel. X-rated, rated R, all that old type of shit, unrated, all that. So if it's not your thing, you know what I'm saying, it's okay. No harm, no foul, baby. There's a lot of channels on this platform that you can partake in that'll, satisfy your whatever. You know what I mean? But this might not be one of them. I appreciate you coming through, though. You know what I mean? I appreciate you coming through, coming to check me out. I'm not always this raggedy. No. I'm not always this raggedy. You know what I'm saying? There's times when I put hair on. Right now, I don't have none. This is just my regular shit. I don't have no perm. Need a little optimum. You know what I'm saying? Edges and shit, little, you know what I'm saying, this and that. But, I haven't permed my hair in years. I don't wear my own shit because my density is low. You know what I'm saying? Bitch shingles and fell off the roof. You know what I mean? So, my density is a little low, so I just stick in my lane. I work with what I can work with and don't give a fuck who like it or don't. For the simple fact that opinions are not needed here. You know what I'm saying? Especially on my shit. Nigga, I've already done it. Every move that I make is calculated. And I think through everything that I do. I would have to say most or majority or the better part of 95% of the movies that I make have been calculated, which means it's premeditated. I done thought it through. I done looked at all of the different scenarios that can proceed after that. And so, in other words, I said what I said. When I said it, I meant what I said. That's it. That's it. That's it. If I done whatever I done it and kept on doing it and did it till I was satisfied. There it is. That was it. That's just what that means. So, I'm well over 40. And let me also say this right here. And I ain't mad at it. I am not mad at being 43, baby. I am 43 years old, and I love it. Oh my God, I love it. 2014 has been the best year of my life. Okay, the best year of my life. Yeah, especially my adult life. Let me say that. Of course, I'm not gonna put that with of course, me bearing children. That's just something that just kind of goes without saying. Especially when you've had your children, especially when it was planned and it was in a beautiful situation. You really look forward to having children when the situation is right. And each and every time, my situation was right. So my kids were blessings to my marriage and to my home and to my family. And so yeah, those. But I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about some regular Tina shit. 2014 has been the best year of my life. And wow, I just sit up here and I'm like, damn, wow. Because it was like, and I was just telling Kenny the other day, and I was like, you know what? It's like every year of my life just seems to get better. And it was like there was a time that I couldn't see my future and everything was so cloudy, and I just didn't see how I was gonna be able to make it through. You know what I'm saying? And oh well, wait a minute. Okay, do we got the appropriate motherfuckers in the room? I'm just saying, do we got the appropriate motherfuckers in the room? I know I rolled on into some more shit, but basically what I'm saying is I talk about all kinds of shit and mostly my own shit. So if it ain't, if, you know what I'm saying, if it ain't your thing, baby, you ain't got to watch me. All right, holla at you, bye. Now the rest of y'all motherfuckers, come on back in. Okay. So, but yeah, there was a time when I was like, wow, I ain't gonna never make it through this shit. I ain't gonna never make it through. I ain't gonna never see 200 pounds. I ain't gonna never be able to see my pussy when I pee. Yeah. There was a time when, I was like, wow, I prayed and I cried and I cried and I prayed for my marriage. And it didn't take until 2014 for me to realize some things about that. I I had to get real about certain things. And when I tell you that my life just constantly evolves, it's like I just go from one extreme to the next, and then I get over that, and then I get into this, and then it's like I'm enjoying the taste of life because I wasn't living before. There were so many years where, it just seems like I was just existing. I never really lived. Yeah, I felt like I was a robot. It was like I knew, okay, Oprah comes on at 3 o'clock, Channel 7, okay. The kids get out of school at 3:30, so I put my dinner on around 3. Then therefore, between commercials, I can go back and forth, watch Oprah, all that old type of stuff, and get my meatloaf and things of that nature on. The kids get out of school at 3:30. The bus comes down the street at 4:15. So then therefore, when Oprah went off, 4 o'clock came, and what came on at 4 o'clock? The 4 o'clock news. Channel 7 with Johnny Mountain and all them. Um, and that was my life, you know. Um, and raising my kids, doing homework. I had a kitchen nook in my kitchen. One of those sectional things, you know. And when my kids got out of school, when I went down and picked up, like, say, Anthony and Tioni, Isaiah was the baby, so, he was here. And but then too, there was times when he wasn't here because when the kids got potty trained, it was automatic that the kids had to go into daycare. They had to go into daycare and preschool. I married a man that his whole background are educators. So school for Tony and his family, it's big. So I knew, once I started having kids, it was all about what school they were going to, what Montessori, this, you know what I mean? And so yeah, so anyway, so at the kitchen nook, when I would pick Anthony and Tioni up down the street, I have Isaiah, if he was here or if he was at daycare. Sometimes he would be at daycare and he would go from 6 to 6, whereas Tony would take him, and then Tony would pick him up on his way coming home from work. And so, and we paid for the whole 12 days. So even though I had a baby, my baby was at daycare, and I would pick up a nursing job, and sometimes I didn't, and it was like my husband felt like, well, that ain't nothing. That ain't nothing. All you do is pay for child care. That's all you pay for is child care. So, when I was doing my nursing thing, it didn't, it was a personal thing for me. And let me tell you something about that. I've always been a nurturer. I've always been that chick. Oh man, the other Ebola patient and brother, doctor, just died. That's fucked up. I'm not understanding this. I'm really not understanding this. And I think that somebody needs to get to the bottom of this Ebola motherfucking bullshit. Because I'm not understanding how the black men that get it, these motherfuckers is dying, but everybody else walking in and out of the hospital, motherfuckers going back to go feed their dogs and shit and all this old type of shit. But you know what? I'm not trying to turn all this into that. But I got some strong feelings about that. I got a medical background. I just don't talk about it, but I got a medical motherfucking background, and I ain't agreeing with some of that right there. Some of that I'm not agreeing with. Now let's just leave that right there. But anyway, my mama was a CNA, and then my mama got away from being a CNA, and then she became a beautician. So, and then, as the story goes, my mom was an owner operator. She worked at the shop that she owned, and she also later opened up another shop, and that one she just, rented out booths in the other. And then the main one is the one that mom worked at. Well, all my mom had all types of clients, that would come in and out the door. And by me being the youngest, me and my mama, we always hung out. So I would always be the one that be in on the conversations with men, be in on, whatever the bomb food was, whatever the topic was. I was just a sponge, if you will, and I would sit there and I would just listen. And as a little girl, and I remember as a baby sitting in my playpen at my mom's beauty shop, and her different clients would come in, and everybody would come to the baby and pick up the baby, and I would always have all kinds of snacks and candies and goodies, because by me being the youngest, my mom didn't put me in daycare. I was at the beauty shop, up until I was like 5 years old. So, it was like, man, shout out to Rose Prince Elementary School. Shout out to Miss Starks. I had a teacher named Miss Starks at Emerson. That was my Head Start. Okay, I went to Emerson Elementary School, Head Start, Compton, California, IA, and yeah, and Miss Starks. But still to this day, I remember you. And my mama used to do her hair. She was actually my teacher. And so anyway, at any rate, you know, that's how I think I've become so versed on women topics, men, and I think that's where I pull a lot of that from. It's from that era. Millie Jackson. My dad loved Millie Jackson. My dad named me after Tina Turner. My dad was a Tina Turner fan. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where he gave the name Tina. I don't know, but this is just the kind of person that I am. This is just me, okay? But at any rate, I became a nurse because my mom used to always say to me, you need something to take care of your children with. You're going to need, an income that is going to take care of you and these children. Before I'd even had kids, I hadn't even had, my mom was prophesying on me, and I didn't even have not now child at the time, okay? So, and I was like, okay, okay. So I went on. I got my CNA. I got my CNA. I don't know what year. Let's see, 90. I graduated in 89. Early 90s, something like that. At the time, I was with Tony, and I had fucked off my first couple of years of college. I just met Tony. You know, he made me feel like I was the most beautiful woman in the world. Well, you know, lady in the world, young lady, whatever. I was young. I wasn't but 20 when I met him. 19, 20, somewhere along up in there. And so he made me feel like I was just incredibly special, and there was nothing in the world that I couldn't have. There was nothing in the world that he wouldn't do for me. And plus, he had his own place. He had a nice ass Beretta. He had a bomb ass Chevrolet Beretta. And you know, he just made me feel like I was that right there. You know what I mean? So, you know, 20 something years later on, you know what I mean? He's still my partner. You know what I mean? Um, and but we're not talking about Tina's marriage and Tina's relationship with Tony. We're not talking about that. So, but in the beginning portion, I went and I got my CNA, and I worked a little bit at it, a little bit at it, a little bit at it, and you know, it fed us. It fed me and Tony. You know, at the time, I think he was like a tech sergeant, staff, one of the two, something like that, when I first met him. And I think it's staff, then it's tech. Yeah, I think it's staff, then tech. Anyway, so when I met him, you know, uh, so that was my little extra little income, you know. He paid for our wedding, and my parents didn't have to pay anything. He paid for everything. And so he was like this knight in shining armor. It was a beautiful thing. Lord have mercy. It was beautiful. So my mom was like, well, you know what? Now that you're married, you need to go take your ass back to school. You need to get your shit together because you're gonna need to take care of your children in case some shit go wrong. And so I was like, you know, my mama was just feeding this to me. You need to go to nursing. You need to get in a nursing program and nursing. So I did that. And, you know, wow. Wow. That was an internal moment. Just let me have that, okay? I was going through just an internal thing, okay? That I choose not to speak on. But at any rate, so once I began working, Tony just never was really receptive of me working, of me being a nurse. I had to go to the board a couple of times because I didn't pass the first time, so I went to the board twice. And I think a lot of just like I got quiet a few minutes ago, because 2014 has been a year that I've really got in tune with a lot of things. A lot of things begin to become surreal, and I begin to get the see the light and get a clearer vision and picture of things in 2014, and get more real and stand more in my truth about things. And he, as my husband, he didn't make me feel like I was really accomplished. He didn't make me feel like my nursing, all that studying and all that hard work and going through neuro and all that, he made it seem like my shit wasn't shit. It was like, whatever. All you can do is pay for child care. Whatever. That ain't. I mean, I'm still paying all this, so whatever. And it just dawned on me when I began to talk about it. That is another reason why I am the way that I am. Wow. It is a blessing and a curse. Let me say this, ladies. It is a blessing and it is a curse to be taken care of by your husband. To come from a family and a background that was comfortable. I would never say that we were rich because I don't know what rich is. I know what comfortable is, but I don't know what rich is. Um, and I've never felt wealthy. So, but when you've lived that, you kind of get out of touch on the struggle. You understand? I'm probably making sense to some, but to some, you guys are like, what you talking about, bitch? You from Compton? Yes, I'm from Compton, but just like any city, all cities have their projects or their income-based apartments, and they have the working class hood. Okay, y'all niggas in the same zip code, but over here they working at McDonnell Douglas and they over here in Northrop and all this old type of shit, Chicken of the Sea and all that shit down there in Long Beach, whichever one. I think that was Chicken of the Sea, that was down there in Long Beach and shit like that. And so it was a lot of motherfuckers that was longshoremen and all that old type of shit. Growing up, that was the type of friends that my parents had. They had business owner partners and motherfuckers with RVs and boats and shit like that there. But then when I go to school, not all of my friends had what I had. And so as a little girl, my hair was always together because, of course, my mama had a shop. And you coming to school sharp and cute, and you got a little purse to match this because my mom always, my mom was was always a seamstress as well. So if she made me some pedal pushers, she made me a little purse and some shit for my hair to go with. You know what I mean? And she made me a little vest and this and that. You know what I mean? Little skirt and all that little type of shit. All she did was bought the stockings, the tights, you know what I'm saying? The Mary Janes, because I loved my Mary Janes. That was my shit. So, my mom had me together as a little girl. And a lot of girls didn't like that, and a lot of people didn't like that. And then it's like, you bougie, and you act like you better than us, and blah, 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 blah. And then as I begin to get older, then I meet this man that has a lot. And but yet and still, he made it seem like that what I call myself trying to bring to the table wasn't shit. Because even though, coming out as a nurse, my very first job, I was making $17.50 an hour, and that was my very first nursing job. I made $17.50 an hour, and I was so happy. And I went to my husband like, baby, look, you know what I'm saying? I got me a job, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? 1750. Um, okay. Okay. What you want me to say? You know what I mean? It was one of them, and it was always that. And then, so then therefore I just took my money and I paid for childcare.